Oh, hey, didn't see you there. I'm just taking the engine out now that it runs and we know everything works. So we're going to pull it, paint the engine bay red, and then put everything back in. And my goal right now, or what I have to do, is be able to pull this out without smashing into things so that when I put it in, I don't smash into all of Fred's paint.
Yeah. Brandon needed my help doing this because he was saying something about like his mental health and like he couldn't handle the stress of like doing this by himself. And then like he was afraid that Judy was like gonna stab him.
Okay, that's a legit concern.
He felt threatened for his life a little bit. So I'm helping Brandon strip the engine bay down right now so that we can get paint on this really quick so he does not infuriate Judy.
Yeah, I don't want to be stabbed. Oh, but we did make a little battery tray. It's going to be over behind the headlight.
Yeah, it's really quality looking. It's a square. Check that out.
Yeah, it's on the battery right now.
Yeah.
We got the core support mounted, or the little centerpiece that we cut off, so it can, one, also not hit the radiator, and
this is the hardware we decided on. It's very strategic. There's a reason why all the bolts are different.
It fits my personality. You know, honestly, I think it came out too nice. Granted, Judy deserves the best, but in the scheme of things, she isn't concerned with trying to win a car show. So now, I'm going to go through the interior and I'm looking through what we've got in here. I know I need the AC button because that's how the new computer is going to know that we want the AC on. So I'm gonna have to figure out what wires go to that and what of these 5 wires on the back of it go to it, because I'm guessing some of these wires are just for like the dome light or the headlight lights to light that up at night. And then there's also like this extra wiring, which, you know, this goes to the old cluster that was actually the original one, and the hacks before us just taped up the ends, which I don't even know why they need to be taped. But that's gonna come out. And I'm trying to find where we're going to put the fuse box and the computer. I was thinking over here, but with the HVAC stuff and, you know, the little plastics that do cover stuff, it's not going to fit on this side of the engine bay. We're going to try, I might be able to shove it up underneath the cluster here, just because a lot of stuff is missing from there and there isn't much underneath. So if I can put everything under there, I'll be very happy. And then I just have to kind of do what I was thinking with the engine harness, because we had it going the other way. And then once I get where the fuse box and the ECU go, I can start running the wiring for everything else, all the way back to the tail lights. I'm going to take off the harness from the engine too, because that's going to be the last thing to go in.
Oh, wow.
We gotta get this dust off.
Okay, go grab something.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so the ground color is called the Primal Ruby. Yeah, 2 more coats of the candy over it.
That's incredible looking.
Yeah. A little deeper, a little
Yeah.
darker.
Yeah.
A little more
It's got
flaky.
some of that star flaky gold in there.
Yeah.
Some of the mica, gold mica in there.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's incredible.
Like it?
I am super happy with that. That's it.
Hell yeah. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
I have a good feeling when it's on the car, it's gonna be like I think it's gonna have a really dramatic kind of difference between when the sun hits
There's a lot
it.
of sharp stuff on that car.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but just the way that like this looks versus like just something you catch on the flop, it literally looks like a solid color on the flop.
Yeah. When it goes a certain way, it's just a red.
Yeah.
And then
That'll look,
Sun.
that's really good.
Yeah, everyone I've showed it to that saw the other one, they were like, "No, this is the one."
Yeah, yeah. That's exciting.
as for today, I've gotten about to a stopping point on the wiring of the dash. As you can see down there, that's all of the stock stuff that I've taken out that we're not going to be using. The rest of it, I have 3 wires here going to the OEM fuse box. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to retain the OEM fuse box for these. This is the 2 AC wires and for the wiper motor. Over on the other side, I have, you know, the blower motor wires and stuff like that kind of strewn out. So we're just going to tuck those back away. The rest of it's going to be the wiring for the blinkers and all that stuff. And I have this is the wires for the switches on the multifunction switches and whatnot on the column. That way I can just put them in and wire them to the painless harness. And this is kind of like we couldn't actually finish we couldn't finish something on the truck for the video, just because the wiring is going to take a lot. And unfortunately, the wiring isn't like, oh, once the wiring's done, everything else is done. We still have to get the rear diff in, which is the 6-lug diff instead of the 5-lug that whoever put on here. We have to get the drive shaft made. We're getting a new steering wheel. There's a bunch of little odds and ends that we have to do, like brakes and stuff like that. We're going to actually look at getting new wheels and tires for her. That way we can, one, put a wider set in the rear so it's safer for her to drive, and just a different style of wheel. I know we didn't actually finish a project, which we normally don't post anything until the project is actually done, or we're like, yay, it's running, or any of that stuff, but engine bay's painted. I'm gonna be hacking away at the wiring over the next week or so to get this thing ready for me to put the engine back in. And then it's gonna be hopefully just a bunch of little buttoning up stuff to finish it. There is talks of doing like a car show or christening or whatever of this thing when it's done, because she calls it her sailboat. And she calls it that because sailboats are just a giant waste of money. And christening is what they do with boats. So she wants to do a christening for this. So if you guys are interested in coming down to the shop and meeting Judy and watching a christening, we're going to try and figure out when that's going to happen. And we're going to be sharing it with you guys and making a little car meet or whatever out of it.